I am Aaron Cassover. I am the co-founder of Agent Methods, and we're joined today to talk about, this is part 3 in our digital marketing series, talking about building trust in a digital world and using digital tools, online tools, to help you automate and increase your retention and your referrals. We're putting this webinar on in conjunction with AHCP and Quote It, as well as Agent Methods. The three of us have all come together because we are seeing big changes in the industry and big changes in the way that our customers are buying insurance and the way that we need to sell. And so we're working together to make sure that you have the information, the knowledge, and the tools that you need to be successful this year, next year, and beyond. So with that, I want to say thank you to the team at Quote It, the team at AHCP for helping organize this. I know Steve and Josh from AHCP and Quote It are on the line. And so Josh, if you could maybe say hello.
Yeah, hello. Thank you, Aaron. We are as excited as you are about this series and want to encourage anyone that if they've missed any of the parts to check that recording. Just to introduce Quote It and AHCP, if you're not familiar, Quote It is the all-in-one insurance quoting, enrolling, and lead management solution that's designed for today's insurance professionals. Whether your primary business is done through traditional face-to-face, telephonic sales, or e-commerce sales, or all of the above, Quote It offers you solutions that can really help transform your customer's experience, providing convenience, personalization, and automation. And AHCP, or America's Healthcare Plan, helps brokers grow their business by supplying the products, the training, the technology, and the support they need to be successful. We're part of the National General Holdings Corporation, whose brands include National General Insurance, Quote It, and many more. With so many in-house solutions, AHCP is able to provide start-to-finish turnkey solution for agents and agencies who want to spend more time selling and less time on those other non-sales tasks that eat into productivity. As you said, Aaron, we believe that the combination of Quote It, AHCP, and Agent Methods really gives a complete toolkit to any agents wanting to compete and thrive in today's marketplace. So we're excited to hear about today's content. I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you, Josh. So I started Agent Methods in 2008, launched in 2009. And over the course of that, I've been very lucky to get to meet some very successful agents that have really built really amazing businesses and are doing really well. And I've seen a pattern in all of this. And what I've seen is that they have built their businesses slowly, they brick by brick, relationship by relationship over the years. It wasn't like a flash in the pan, a lightning success. It was consistent, kind of foundational person-to-person work that created their success. That seems to be a common pattern. And we know that insurance is a business where retention and referrals are what create that long-term success. Retention and referrals, keeping customers and having your network send more people to you. And once you kind of get to that point, things really start to escalate and snowball. And of course, all of that happens because of relationships. The foundation of all of that is having really good, really high quality relationships with your audience. They have to be built over time. There's no sort of secret sauce, fast track, instant way to build a relationship. It just takes time. Now, the way that we sell today, where we're often doing some remote sales, we're doing online sales, we're doing this multi-channel where people go on your website and talk to you in Zoom. You may never see them face to face. The way that you build these relationships is different. You can't break bread together. You're not sitting there, just having a common experience. It's still important, but it's different. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is how do we use new tools? What are the new ways we make relationships? What are the new ways that we can strengthen our connection with our customers to increase our retention, to increase our referrals, and to speed it up so that it's a long-term thing, but we can see success this year, next year. Now, I love to keep things interactive. So if you have a thought, a question, an idea, as I talk, I'll be watching the chat and the Q&A. Please feel free to jump in there and type it in. I will do my best to kind of jump in and answer anything I can as it comes. If I don't get to it during the conversation, at the end, I'll make sure we go through and answer everybody's questions and kind of go through all of the comments that come through. So please do feel free to use that. And in fact, why don't you just go into the chat and let's just say hello, and just give me a hello so I can hear from you. I'll do the same. Hello from Seattle, where it's not yet summer. Great. Okay. And then finally, stick with me to the end, because we do have a special offer, a really good offer for people that attended this session today that you'll want to make sure you hear about and don't miss out on. Really quickly, I don't want to give you my life story. What's important here is that is a picture of me. This is a conversation about relationships. If we are ever somewhere in person, if we're ever at a conference or a meeting together, my biggest request is that you come and say hello. Come say hi to me. I am very much an introvert. Even though I'm here talking, I'll be hiding behind something, a flower pot in the corner. So come and say hello. That would mean the world to me to get to see you face to face, to make that real connection. And I have a little bit of a bribe. We have these really cool stickers. This is Cluck Norris, insurance agent by day, superhero by night. We have stickers. Sometimes we have t-shirts. We usually have them in our pocket or in our bag. So come say hello and we'll hook you up with a sticker. A little more context. Agent Methods started, I told you before, we started developing in 2008. We took on our first customers in 2009 with the goal of helping agents use technology to grow sales, to help them do online marketing, establish an online presence to grow their business. Since then, we've launched well over 5,000. The number has gone much past that. Websites for agents on our platform. It's really amazing to see. And as I said before, we've had the chance to work with lots of agents, lots of successful agents, and it really is an honor to get to see how their businesses are growing and how they're doing. We have learned a lot in that time of what it takes to be successful. And so that's kind of where this comes from, where we're pulling information from things that we've seen in the real world. Agents are doing really well. We did a survey last year to just look at how agents were doing, how businesses were going, and we looked at all the agents who were seeing their sales grow. So in the past 12 months, they'd seen a sales increase, and it was not everybody, I'm sorry to say, but of those agents, we wanted to look at what they were doing differently, and we're looking for patterns that separated them from their peers. And the first thing we saw, which was kind of surprising, is they spent less time marketing. You'd think that the opposite. They spent 2.6 hours less per month on marketing. So they were working maybe more efficiently or doing something different. They had actually less experience. So the 12.6 years experience versus 15 in the industry. So they had not been doing it for as long. They got 86% more referrals, and that makes a lot of sense. If you're getting a lot more referrals, you're going to see a lot more sales growth. And they also had 40% more customers buy multiple policies. So they were doing more cross-marketing, more cross-sales. And again, that really makes sense. If they're getting more referrals and more cross-sales, then that can save them time in marketing, and that would also cause their sales to grow. So that's kind of the common patterns that we saw. Now, this may be obvious, but this is kind of what we saw in this, that they're getting more referrals, they're doing more cross-marketing, and this has been studied in lots of industries. It is a fact that selling to your existing customers is more profitable than selling to strangers. It takes less marketing, it takes fewer meetings. The retention is where profit comes from. Going out and getting a new customer to a stranger, to market to them, get them to come to you and trust you and get them to buy from you takes a tremendous amount of energy. And a lot of us put our energy there. We focus really hard on going after new, when the truth is that if we have a book of business, if we have a customer base, focusing on marketing through them is the faster path. There's a lot of data that tells us that that is where our energy is best spent, but our intuition tells us to go and find new, and so we don't do that. Some of that data, this comes from the Harvard Business Review. If you can increase your retention by 5%, it increases your profit by 25 to 95%. And that's because you're not redoing all that work. You're not having to invest as much in marketing to new people. And so instead, that retention just goes straight to the bottom line as profit. The chances of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%, compared to a new customer is 5 to 20%. And certainly you know this, if you are buying leads that are people you don't know, it might take 5 to 20 leads to get a sale, versus when a customer comes into your office, there's a good chance you're going to close it. And then loyal customers that feel connected to you, that have stayed with you, that have bought multiple products and renewed, are 4 times more likely to refer you. So if you keep customers over a long time, you're going to increase your referral rate by 4x, and they are 7 times more likely to respond to a new product or offer that you give to them. So if you cross market to a loyal customer, there's a much better chance they're going to raise their hand and say, that sounds interesting. To kind of put this into visuals, if you're selling to new prospects, this is 20 people you're going to meet with in the coming days, this is what you're going to expect in terms of your sales. So the vast majority of them are not going to buy. You're going to have a lot of presentations, a lot of conversations, a lot of unreturned voicemails, a lot of sent them quotes and never heard back from them, a lot of getting ghosted from these cold prospects for a few sales. With existing customers, it's much different. When they come to you for a product, there's a good chance they're going to buy. Most of your effort is going to go towards selling as opposed to not selling. And the visual really helps us kind of see how this works. We want to be like this and not in the previous image. We want to have most of our conversations result in a sale, because that's just a better use of our time. Again, this is obvious, but to say it, existing customers are where renewals come from. Your existing customer, you can't be a renewal if you weren't a customer first. And existing customers are where your referrals come from. So if we're spending most of our time marketing to new customers, investing in trying to talk to strangers, yet we know there's clear data about the value of existing customers, that's going to hurt our renewals, it's going to hurt our referrals. And so you're going to see kind of my point today is that to build relationships, to strengthen your business, to increase your renewals and referrals, you need to focus on your customers. You need to focus on marketing toward your customers. That's how this all comes together and starts to work. So, okay, what is the best way to retain customers? What's the best way to build relationships with customers? This data is from 2014, so it's old, but the reason why is because it hasn't changed. And so they went and looked in 2014 at the best ways to use technology to interact with customers, and they saw that email marketing was by far the best. It still is. Social media is the second best, and then content marketing. And so we know that these are the ways we can use technology to invest in our customer relationships, to retain them longer. All right, so with all of this said, I have a few questions. And I'm not going to call anybody on the spot. This is not going to be graded. Just some things I want you to quietly think about as we talk through this. So the first question is, how much of your marketing is focused on your customers? How much of your marketing efforts, how much of your mailers, how much of your marketing campaigns are going, your marketing dollars, how much of that is going toward your customers versus toward strangers and new prospects? I know many of us are buying leads. We're sending out Turning 65 campaigns and mailers. It's really, really intriguing to focus on new. And I think most agents, that's where you think of marketing is going. You think of marketing as a way to go out and get new customers. The second one, and I think we need to be honest with ourselves here, is how often do you interact with your customers? I know what we want, but we want to interact with them a lot. We want to say, yeah, we have really good relationships. We stay in close contact with our customers. But the reality may be different. I usually see people say, well, yeah, I want to, but between enrollments, it's really hard to kind of connect with people. So, that could leave a year. And that leaves a lot of space for your customers to hear from your competitors, to, I hate to say it, to forget about you. And it's also really hard to build a relationship without interaction. If you're not interacting with somebody, you have no relationship. And without a relationship, it's really hard to get referrals. It's really hard to get renewals. So, the honest truth is we know what we want to do, but what are you really doing? in interacting with your customers. And the third is, what is your post-sale follow-up process? So after you have the application in hand, after it's submitted to the carrier, after the policy is in force, what do you do? Do you have a process in place to follow up with your customers? And again, we know what the ideal is. We know that, ideally we would, but it's hard to stop and spend time with a customer that's already bought when there's a new prospect waiting to meet with you, when there's somebody else you can go and help. It's just really hard to go and spend time on sales that have already happened when there's somebody who needs your attention going forward. And then the last one is, how do you increase your customer interactions? How do you interact with customers more frequently at a higher level at scale? And by scale, I mean, how do you do more and more of this? As your audience gets bigger, as your customer base gets bigger, how do you start to be more efficient at reaching out? And the truth is, this is why we don't call our customers every day. If we were going to call every customer every day, they'd be kind of annoyed, but it also would take a lot of time, even every month. If we said once a month, I'm going to check in with all my customers and make sure everything's going great with their insurance and their product, that would be a lot of work. That'd be all you did. And so it's hard to scale that outreach. Now, let's look at all this a little bit of a different way. Let's think about a timeline. Let's just think about a year. And, maybe this is Medicare Advantage with open enrollment in the fall, and then you go a year before the renewal. And so usually there's 12 months between the enrollment and renewal, this 12-month gap. And so what do you do to market to your customers during that gap? What do you do? And I think for most of us, we want to do something, but it's kind of whatever we can get by with. Let's hope to get something out, but we're really busy. There's other things to do. And it doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen consistently. Now, in that 12-month period, they are getting messages from people. And you've seen these ads. Your customers are getting these ads. Your competition is well-funded, well-armed. And by competition, I mean these online call centers, direct-to-consumer websites, that sort of thing. They are knocking at your customer's door. They use that entire year to send this message of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in your customers' minds that there's a product that they should have been told about that you didn't tell them about, or there's something they should be getting, they're not, or they're paying too much, or they're not getting serviced well. They are trying to put that fear in your customers' minds. And last year, they raised $15.5 billion to go and do this, $15.4 billion in funding to InsurTech. And they're putting that money into sales. This is why we're seeing all these ads right now. It's to go and try to intercept your customers, to disrupt that relationship, because they know it's really hard for you to stay in touch with them over this 12-month period between enrollment and renewal. Now, what should we be doing? So I think there's three kind of things. The first is, after enrollment, post-sale education and post-sale relationship building. And in another industry I've heard about, car dealers, car sales. In a lot of states, there's this, what it's called, it's like a 24-hour, no questions asked. There's a cool-off period where you can buy a car, and then you have a day or a weekend or 72 hours to just change your mind, to decide, what, I was sold something I did not want, and you can just bring it back, no questions asked, and get your money back. Buyer's remorse. And of course, if you're in car sales, you hate this because you want to make the sale. The customer agreed, they made a deal. Why should they get to go and change their mind later? That's not fair. And so they've done a lot of research about how do you reduce buyer's remorse? After somebody says yes, how do you really seal the deal? How do you get them to really feel like they made the right decision? They're happy with the decision. They're not going to back out of it. And what they found is after the purchase, if they spend a little more time with you, if they spend some time kind of going back and showing you some special things about the car you bought. And so if you buy a car today, while they're doing the paperwork, the salesperson is going to take you into the car, and they're going to show you how to program the seats. And they're going to show you how to get your favorite station, program the radio. because they know that those little details of helping you customize it, helping you learn about it, investing in you after the sale dramatically reduce buyer's remorse. Certainly, if you're selling Medicare Advantage products during AEP, you make a sale, there's this whole OEP switcheroo, right? You don't want that where some TV ad comes on explaining some imaginary product that they could get, and suddenly your customer's like, wait, I wanted that. And so post-sale education is this investment you make in your customers to help them feel like they bought the right thing from the right person. If they have a question or they have a need, or if there's a feature they're looking for they didn't know about, or if they don't know how to use their coverage, or really anything else, they know that you're there to help them. It reinforces the value that you provide. And so having this period, 3 months or so after a sale of education, locks in the renewal for the next year. It makes sure that the customer feels rock solid for 12 months from now. The next piece is proactive outreach, pre-renewal. So before the renewal comes up, well before they start to think about it, start to invest in them, start to educate them, start to prep them for the coming renewal so that they don't start to hear it from somewhere else. They don't start to see a TV ad and say, wait, I'm not sure what to do. I didn't hear about this. So am I missing out on something? Did I miss a deadline? You want to make sure that they are ready and they know that you've got their back and they have the person they need to help them. And so this pre-renewal proactive outreach helps you guide your customers back to you for that renewal. A great tip for doing this is to use online scheduling so that before the renewal comes up, you start to educate them and you share a link to your calendar so they can go and book their appointment. They can get on your calendar. And to them, that means that they're locked in. The problem is solved. They're on your calendar. They know that their appointment is November 7th, 9 a.m. And they can just ignore those TV ads. They can ignore everything else, the mailers and the door hangers and billboards and everything else they see. They can ignore that because they know they are locked in. They have their person who's going to help them. And then the last piece in this is year-round education and year-round value add. And if you're going to build a relationship with somebody, you need to be present, and you also need to invest continuously in that relationship. And so you can't disappear for 6 months or a year. You have to be present. And you need to do this in a way that's not salesy. You're not pushing a sale. You're reinforcing the value you bring. You're showing that you're invested in your clients. You are bringing content, information, help that's positive, engaging. And so this helps them feel invested in. It also helps them keep from feeling like they're being neglected or forgetting about you. It shows them that you bring value beyond the sale. It makes them feel aligned with you. It makes them want to share your information to their friends, and it makes them want to go back to you if they have any questions. So year-round value add and education. So this is kind of the bookends after enrollment and before renewal, and then all the books in between with this year-round education and value. So how do we do this? Again, we talked about this before. This is that study about what you should do for customer retention. And right here, it's laid out for us: email marketing, social media marketing, content marketing. This is the playbook that we pull from to build relationships, to increase our renewals, to increase retention, to increase referrals. We use these 3 tools. There's others on here, but these are really the ones that make sense for us. Hasn't changed since 2014. This is not breaking news. This is stuff it just takes a lot of work to put in place is the problem. So your game plan. If you're thinking you want to increase your retention, which I hope you are, if you're thinking that you like referrals, which I hope you do, if you're thinking about improving your cross sales, which is the fastest way for you to increase your sales this year, here's your game plan. So first one is staying top of mind year round, making sure that your customers do not forget you, and making sure that if another agent is trying to steal away your customer, or if there's a TV ad or somebody else kind of putting that fear in your customer's ear, they say, no, I'm covered. Be proactive about your outreach. Your customers don't think about insurance anywhere near as you do. And so they don't know what they don't know. And so by being proactive, it's a great service to them, and it shows them that you are there to make sure they they're covered and they have what they need. Continue to add value. So your game plan is to constantly be putting more value into your customers' lives. How do you make their lives better because they have a relationship with you? And then finally, not finally, number 4 is make it easy for your customers to contact you. And it's funny how often it's hard to find an agent's information. Make sure that your phone number and your website are in your email signature. Make sure it's easy so that if somebody forwards your email on to somebody else, they know how to call you. Make sure that if you type in your name into Google, they find your website. Make it easy for your customers. And then, of course, asking for referrals. People want to help people they like. People want to help you if they feel like you're aligned and adding value. They're going to want to go and do this because it makes them look good. It helps you, their friend, and it's just a win-win. So by asking for referrals, you remind them of how important that is and the value it brings to everybody's relationships. Okay, so breaking this down a little more. What you need to do. This is what you need to do this year. First one is a monthly email newsletter. So make sure that every month you are sending out an email newsletter to all of your contacts. At a minimum, have a newsletter go out. Have it have your brand, have it have good content, have it be something that your customers will engage with. This is not a place to push products. This is a place to invest. Good content, so your customers will see from you every month. They'll see your brand, they'll see your contact information, and they'll associate it with all this helpful stuff that you're sending out to them. Every single month. Do not miss a month. The next is social media. So you need to be part of the conversation. And again, not pushing product. This is not, I'm not saying go advertise and buy leads. This is be present on social media. Your customers are going there to communicate with their friends and family, to get information about their lives, to look at vacation photos of their friends, grandparents, baby pictures, all that stuff is happening on social media. And so you need to make sure you're at the party, you're there, and you're doing something that they're going to say, yeah, having this agent on my feed is good. I'm getting great content. I like to pay attention to it. This is stuff that I care about. And having a relationship with you is really helpful, not salesy. And then email. Email campaigns. The newsletter is sort of the informative, ongoing stuff. And then above that, you need to think about how do you educate people about products, about your relationship. And so having 2 campaigns, 2 a month that go out is your chance to help people see opportunities they might not know about. So maybe there's products they should be aware of, or changes in coverage. After enrollment periods, this is where you can go and do that post-sale education, help them understand how to use their products, where to go if they have questions, where to go if they want to make a change, or if they want to look at other options, and make sure you're always driving them back to you. It's also where you can go to do things like ask for referrals and explain the value of working with you as an agent. And so sending out 2 email campaigns a month. We've found that if you have a good newsletter that goes out, that kind of builds the foundation, then you can send out 2 additional, more insurance-focused campaigns. What you don't want to do is go nuts on this and have no relationship, no kind of foundational stuff, and just kind of push why they should come get quotes from you. If you go too heavy on that side, if you're just focusing on your agenda, focusing on pushing what you want, you will see nobody opens your email, you end up in spam folders, and everybody starts unsubscribing. And so you have to build that foundation before you can start to have an ask of your own. So what kinds of things? I mentioned some before, product education. So what are different products? How do you use them? Why do you need them? Cross-marketing, relationship building, where to go for support or questions, and then information about upcoming enrollments. So these are some great topics to send out in your emails. Your website, blog posts, but really more than that, you need to show that your site's getting updated. Your website isn't static. It isn't this thing that you built once and you've forgotten about that sits off on the side. Your website is a dynamic part of your business that's constantly being updated. Your homepage should be changing. And then your blog is a chance to kind of, again, engage people beyond just the day-to-day products that you sell and give them content and information that they're going to find interesting. Gives them a reason to come back to your site and to circle back. So adding weekly blog posts to your site so that there's always something fresh and new. And then also on your website, because we know that more and more people are thinking about interacting with businesses in a multi-channel way, where they go online, do some research, kind of do some exploration around price and options, and then they call and talk to you. Your site needs to have self-service quoting so that your customers can go there, they can look at products, look at options, kind of explore the variables at 24 hours a day. Anytime they want to, they can go and get that data. We found in my experience, sometimes they will buy, and that's great. If they go to your site, they find a product they like and they buy it, awesome. But also sometimes they'll look at products, they'll start to get some ideas, and then they'll want to talk to you to confirm and enroll the purchase, so that they will switch from website to talking live. And so having quoting is really a requirement today, because it brings your customers forward, it helps them engage self-service, and then they will transition to in-person. For enrollment periods, this is the kind of the proactive outreach. You need to automate enrollments. You need to be getting in front of your customers well before the enrollment period, educating them about what's coming up, why they should meet with you, and what they should be doing, and making sure that they know that you're there, when they can meet with you, and then ideally giving them online scheduling so they can go and schedule an appointment with you. So automating enrollment periods. This is an agent that I talked to recently, where he automated his AEP enrollment, scheduled over 400 sales appointments automatically through his website. And he said, during AEP, scheduling automation gives me more time. And the second part is the most important one, makes my customers more satisfied. And what he meant by that is there was no more back and forth. There was no more trying to get in touch with him to get an appointment. There was no more wondering when they should meet with him or if they should meet with him. His customers just were able to lock in that appointment, know that they were set, know that they were taken care of, and they can move forward. So online scheduling saves you time and is also really good customer service. All right, putting this all together. So if we're doing 12 newsletters, every business day, a social post, weekly blog posts, 2 email campaigns a month, we're looking at 350 or more things a year, 350 or more annual touch points. So, this is why so many of us are falling short. This is why so many agents are not able to go and market to their customers, because this is honestly a lot of work. 350 touch points. Now, your options, how do you do this? Okay, so this is stuff that's really necessary. This is stuff that will protect your customers, help you build relationships over the long term, dramatically increase your renewals, your referrals, your cross sales. So it's worth doing. So how do you go and do this? 350 touch points a year. So we see some agents will go and they will hire an assistant marketing person, somebody whose job it is. You can have a person on your team who writes your newsletter a couple of days a month. They spend on that. Every day they go out and they manage your social media. So they're putting stuff out there. They are writing blog posts. And so if they're doing one a week, that might be half a day to a day a month. And then creating email campaigns and creating landing pages. And then also getting the proactive pre-enrollment stuff going. When you add this all up, it's about a full-time job. So having a marketing coordinator or an assistant who can do this is one solution. And that's something that some agents are doing. Now, that's a big commitment. That's expensive. Certainly the return potential is there, but the reality is probably that most of us can't just go and hire somebody full-time today to take care of these things, no matter how important this is. So the other option is to automate it, to look for systems that put this all in place. And that is what Agent Methods and Quote It can do. So we come together, these two platforms. On the Agent Methods side, we manage your online presence, your social media, your newsletter, email marketing. Quote It manages your online quoting, and then a bunch of back office lead management, drip campaigns, all of your enrolling your customers to streamline your work so that you're super efficient and help you service more customers with less work. When we looked at that data at the beginning and we saw that customers that were doing better were spending less time on marketing. The reason why is because they were using systems like Agent Methods and like Quote It to streamline and automate their business. They weren't trying to write the newsletter every month. They weren't trying to put on blog posts every month. They weren't trying to, kind of scramble to get all this stuff duct taped together on their own. They leveraged platforms and tools that were built specifically for them. And so if you're looking at this and if you agree that retention and renewals and referrals and cross marketing are important to your business, and you don't feel like hiring a full-time person to take care of it, let's talk, because this is what we are focused on doing. This is what we've done for thousands of agents like you to help them grow their sales. So I told you there's a special offer. If you're thinking, okay, I'm interested in this, if this seems like it might be something that can help me out, what you should do, there's a special page just for attendees of this session, agentmethods.com/bundle. So you can go there and you can fill out your information. We'll take you to an online schedule because we practice what we preach, where you can pick a time, let us know what you're interested in. And then there's a couple really special offers. The first off is up to $700 off of Agent Methods services, your website, and your online marketing. And this one blows me away. You can get Quote It for as little as $10 a month. I mean, that's a no-brainer. So make sure you go agentmethods.com/bundle, put in your info, reserve a time, and we'll talk to you a bit more about what's included, help you answer your questions, help you see how this might fit with your business, so you can automate your relationships to increase your referrals, to increase your retention, to grow your business, and then lock in this amazing offer. Quote It for as little as $10 a month. That's awesome. So take a minute now, go and do that. I am going to peek over at the chat. It looks like there's no questions that have come in that I haven't answered. We have a couple more minutes. So if you do have a question, if there's anything you want to say, feel free to jump into the chat and do so. Josh, anything else you want to say as we wrap up?
Yeah, I think I'm in trouble here. You talked about people will refer business to you if they like you. So no matter what we got, that's going to knock me out right away, isn't it? But no, I think this has been such a great series. I love that you've shared some examples of agents and agencies that have really transformed their business using these techniques and tools. One question I do have, your library, this content that that can be automated and put to work for an agent, how often is that refreshed? The latest news included, stuff that no matter, no longer pertains, taken out. How do you guys manage that library?
Yeah, so the Agent Methods has a whole library of content for your website and your online marketing. So web page content, email content, and we all of our content gets audited annually, but then we also have a list of anything that has a number, a date, or a regulation. And so we're tracking all of the Affordable Care Act content, we're tracking all of the Medicare content, and anything else that needs to be updated to make sure that there's always a current data that is available to put on your website. Same with the email campaigns.
I wanted you to point that out because that's so important. I mean, with everything else a broker and agent has to do in their world, just keeping up with it themselves, getting their content up to date. I mean, that's a full-time job right there. So that's tremendous.
Yeah. It really, when you put it all together to do this right, if you're going to do it all yourself, it really is a full-time job. Having somebody who is your full-time marketer, content manager, running all of this for you. Or you can leverage a system like Agent Methods and Quote It to take care of it all for you. Okay, well, I think we're good. I really appreciate everybody's joining today. I think this is a topic that, when we look at some of this data, it seems kind of obvious, but then we look at what our behavior is, this is something we need to invest more time in, put more attention into. And I promise you that there is gold in these hills. If you go and focus on this stuff, there are sales to be had. There is growth to be found in your business through retention and relationships. So with that, we're going to wrap up. We're talking again in a little bit. I think we have one more session in this series, and I look forward to seeing you there, and have a great day.
Thanks so much, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.